Do you know that a token can have a great idea, a massive and a powerful theme, a massive hype, but yet that token will still fail? If that token is poorly designed, it will still fail. Why? Before you buy a token, there are things you are supposed to look at. You are supposed to understand about that token, the distribution of that token, the supply of that token, the demand and the value of that token. These are things you are supposed to consider when you want to buy a token. And if this aspect of every token is poorly designed, that token might have a great idea and a massive hype, but it will still fail. This is known as the tokenomics. In today's lesson, we are going to understand what tokenomics, or what is commonly known as the token economics of every token. This is what we are going to be breaking down today. The tokenomics of every token. Hello everyone, you are welcome today to today's lesson. In our previous lesson, we have been discussing about cryptocurrencies. If this is your first time you are coming across my video, please refer back to my page. You will see my previous lessons. In today's lesson, we are going to be breaking down tokenomics. You will understand the distribution, how a coin is being distributed, the demand, the supply of every token. Stay tuned with me because today's lesson is going to be very explicit about the tokenomics of every token. What is tokenomics? Tokenomics is the study of the economic design of cryptocurrency tokens. It combines tokens and economics. Look at tokenomics as the blueprint of every crypto token. It is designed to answer questions like the distribution, the supply, the amount in circulation, how these tokens can be removed from circulation. So, tokenomics is designed in such a way that it answers questions like how many of these tokens shall exist in total, how many of it should be existing at a particular time, how can these tokens be removed from circulation, how can early investors use their own tokens, how can they release this token into circulation. All of this count when it comes to tokens of cryptocurrency tokens. If you are buying a token, you need to know all of this. You need to understand the blueprint of this token. You need to know how many pieces of this token shall exist in total. How are these tokens being distributed? The distribution, how is it supplied? How can early investors release their tokens, their locked tokens into circulation? How is demand created? Demand of this token, how is it created? These are very vital aspects of every token that you need to understand. And this is why tokenomics of every token is very important. All of this count because you need to understand the blueprint of this token. Why is tokenomics important? Tokenomics is very important because the demand, the supply, and the distribution of a token strongly influence its scarcity, its demand, its price, and the long-term sustainability of that token. So, without this being considered, a token is liable to fail. For example, a token that has a well-planned tokenomics, a well-planned manner of distribution, has a higher chance to succeed more than a token that does not have a well planned distribution, manner of distribution, or tokenomics. This makes investors to look at a token beyond hype and marketing. These are the things that actually attract investors to be looking at a token, to pay attention to a token, and not just based on hype. If you are new into the cryptocurrency, you know that most often people buy a token based on hype. But then, these are not the things you are supposed to be looking at. A token is not successful because of hype. A token is successful due to its well-planned tokenomics. Due to the way that this token has been planned, the amount that shall exist, the maximum supply of it, the amount in circulation, how these tokens are being burned and removed from circulation, how these tokens are being distributed, how early investors should release their locked tokens into circulation in order not to affect the price of that token. So these things makes early investors and people that are willing to invest into a token to look at that token beyond hype and just the marketing strategy. A token is not about the hype and the marketing strategy, but it is solely based on its tokenomics. Total supply of a token as a component of tokenomics. Because there are many components of tokenomics we are supposed to look at. The total supply of a token as one of the components of tokenomics. The total supply of a token is the amount of tokens that exist already, or the amount of tokens that are in existence, and these tokens can actually be accounted for. This is a total supply of a token. These tokens are in existence and can actually be accounted for. How many tokens are actually in circulation? Yeah, they must be able to be accounted for. They don't count tokens that are being burned, tokens that are burnt and removed, or tokens that are still to be minted, tokens that are still to be unlocked into circulation are not considered as total supply of that token. The total supply is based on the amount that exists already. They are in circulation, they are existing, and they can actually account for. You can actually say this amount of tokens are in circulation. This is why it's known as the total supply of that token, and it's a component of the tokenomics that is very important for, especially for early new traders, new crypto investors. You need to look at the total supply of every token to understand how much quantity of this token are in existence and are accounted for. Because of course, the higher the amount in circulation, it means these tokens, it can also affect the price of this token. So you have to understand the total supply of every token. This is a component that you must look at as an investor or someone who is new into cryptocurrency and wishes to invest into a token. You must have to look at the total supply of this token. Maximum supply of a token. Maximum supply as a component of tokenomics. So the maximum supply of a token is the highest number of that token that shall exist. For instance, Bitcoin has a maximum supply of 21 million pieces. Once these 21 million pieces of Bitcoin are mined, no more Bitcoin mining is going to exist. Bitcoin mining stops. So the maximum supply as designed is 21 million pieces of it. So the maximum supply is the amount of this token that shall ever exist. Nothing goes beyond that amount. Once those amount of this amount of tokens are already into circulation, if it's designed from the beginning that 100 million of these tokens shall exist, once 100 of this million of these tokens are already in existence, mining or minting of this token stops. For instance, I just explained about the Bitcoin. Once 21 million pieces of Bitcoin shall be mined, mining stops. All miners disconnected because no extra Bitcoin can be added to the maximum supply of a token. Circulating supply. Circulating supply as a component of tokenomics. Remember, we say you have to look at the total supply of that token. You have to look at the maximum supply of that token. I have to look at the circulating supply of that token. Circulating supply now is the amount of that token that has been made available in the public market. For instance, a maximum supply of a token can be 1 billion pieces of it, but the circulating supply of that token is 200 million. That means more of that token shall be released into circulation. That means 200 million pieces of it has been made available on the public market for people to buy, sell, and exchange. But the maximum supply of it is 1 billion of it, means more of this token would eventually be unlocked into circulation. So circulating supply, which is also very important, is the amount of these tokens that are actually made available on public markets where people can actually buy, sell. Like for instance, if you go on the Binance, you will see how many pieces of this token are made available for people to buy there and sell, exchange on the Binance. So these three components are very important to note when you want to buy a token as a new investor. You have to look at the total supply of that token. You have to look at the maximum supply of that token and of course you have to look at the circulating supply of that token, because the more pieces of this token are in circulation, the more it affects the price of a token. So you have to these are the aspects you have to look at. They are components of the tokenomics that you have to actually look at as a new investor into cryptocurrency. Token unlocks. Let's understand what token unlocks are, because when a token is being created, all the tokens are not released into circulation. They are scheduled. The way the distribution they scheduled in such a way that these tokens are being unlocked gradually to avoid creating what we call selling pressure in the market. Because if all tokens are released in the market at the same time, it creates a high level of selling pressure in the market. And of course, if the demand is not high, because if people don't actually want this token, many people are not buying this token to hold. Everyone comes there to sell because they have these tokens. We all mine this token and we have this token. The way this token were released into the market, everyone has this token and no one actually needs this token. The demand is low. We all come into the market and we sell those tokens. When that happens to a token, that token is not going to succeed because there was a high level of selling pressure in the market due to a high level of availability of this token in circulation. So unlocking allocations are always made, especially for creators, early investors, and people that advise us. Early investors they are allocated, their tokens are allocated, their unlocks are allocated in such a way that it should not create selling pressure in the market. They should not come in with their heavy allocations and manipulate the price of a token. And of course, if they come in and manipulate the price of a token, it creates a selling pressure. More people sell, less people purchase, and that token, the price of that token drops. So this is also a very vital aspect of the tokenomics that must be considered. The token unlocks must be considered. You have to also look at how that token is being unlocked. Where you want to invest into a token, you have to look at how, despite looking at the maximum supply, the total supply, and the circulating supply of it, you also have to look at the allocation, the unlock allocation. How is this token being distributed? How is it being unlocked? You have to look at it to know if these tokens are unlocked randomly and millions of it are released at once into circulation. If that is actually happening, means fewer wallets are in possession of these tokens, and when they come, they manipulate the price and create selling pressure in the market. And of course, token like that cannot actually thrive in the crypto market because the demand is low. Token distribution. Tokenomics also looks at who receives tokens. When these tokens are created, who receives this token? This is also a way to eliminate and to make sure that tokens are not owned by a few wallets only. Yeah, this token should not be owned by a few wallets. If I want to invest into a token and I discover that the distribution of this token is centered around a few wallet, I mean a few group of individuals, of course that poses a risk to me because I am coming in to purchase a token that greater percentage of it is owned by a few wallets. What happens when these few wallets decide at once to release their tokens into circulation? What happens if they decide to release or to sell all of these tokens at once? Of course, they are going to crash the price of that token. So token distribution is very important when you want to invest as a new investor into cryptocurrency. You need to understand how this token is being distributed. A token can be distributed, say, to the developers, the founders, those that actually help in the ecosystem development, partnership, those the participants, miners, those that are actually there as validators, those that are staking these tokens. This token distribution is allocated into categories. And you have to look at the categories. You have to look at the percentages. The founders, what percentage is being allocated to them? The charity, what percentage is being allocated to the charity of that token? The foundation, what percentage is allocated to miners? What allocation is given to people that are willing to stake, to lock up their tokens for maybe to be validators? All of this count because if you don't look at how these tokens are being distributed and you invest into this token without actually looking at the distribution allocation of this token, if this few wallet that owns greater percentage of this token decide to sell at once, you are at a higher risk of losing your money because they create a selling pressure in the market, and of course it affects the price of the entire token. Token utility. Let's talk more about token utility. One of the biggest questions that you as a new investor into cryptocurrency should be asking before buying a token is, what actually is this token used for? every token must have a utility. A token can be created to be used as gas fee. A token may be created to be used as a rewarding token, or be created to use as a blockchain maintenance token, be created to be used at discount, staking rewards. This token must have something that is being used for. A token without a utility means it's a useless token because you cannot go and invest into a token that has no utility. A token that has a meaningful utility gives investor the right, the importance of it. It creates this platform for investors to look at this token to be valuable. So they can now actually purchase this token because this token actually have a real life use case. People are actually using this token to purchase goods and services. People are actually using these tokens to pay gas fee. Take for instance, the BNB on Binance. The BNB is a Binance token. It was created as a Binance token that it is used to settle as gas fee on the Binance exchange. If you are sending cryptocurrencies on the Binance, gas fee are paid in BNB, Binance Chain token. So you see that BNB has a value because millions of people are using the Binance. The value of BNB is liable to increase. The value of BNB is liable to appreciate. Many people will now want to buy and hold BNB because they understand that BNB actually have a good utility. The BNB actually have a utility. It is used as the gas fee on the Binance chain. So you, as an early investor or a newbie into the crypto industry, before you buy a token, you have to ask this question: what is this token actually used for? What is the utility of this token? You don't just jump into this token because it is available. It has higher value. There are a lot of people buying this token. It is based on hype. The marketing strategy of this token has been high. Many people are talking about this token. Hype alone does not make a token valuable, but the tokenomics of a token makes that token to gain grounds, makes that token to be considered as a valuable token, and hence it appreciates in price. So a token with a well-defined utility is liable to succeed because investors trust this token. They see this token as something that is actually valuable. There is also going to create what we call a high demand. Many people will want to purchase this token with a good utility case to hold in such a way that when many people actually purchase this token, of course, the price of this token would appreciate because we said prices of tokens are not based on scarcity alone. Yeah, prices of tokens are not based on scarcity alone. The demand of a token also matters. If people are willing to purchase and hold this token, the prices are liable to increase. So utility also play a vital part when it comes to tokenomics of a token. Token burning. Let's talk about token burning. Token burning is another question you should also ask. How are these tokens being removed from circulation? As an early investor or someone who is new into cryptocurrency, before you invest into a token, you also have to look at the aspect of burning of this token. Burning simply is the aspect in which cryptocurrencies are sent to a token, to an address. This address is inaccessible. Once these tokens are being sent to this address, they are considered as permanently being removed from circulation because this address are not they are inaccessible. No one has access to this address. In our previous lesson, we were teaching about token burning and we expatiated on it. Token burning, when you send, as they are burning the token, when you send to this address, they are inaccessible. Once tokens are sent here, they are considered to be permanently removed from circulation. So this is an important aspect to consider when you are investing into a crypto token. Look at how these tokens are being removed from circulation. Do they schedule a burning process? Do they automatically remove tokens from the circulation? For instance, a project can schedule if there are this amount of token in circulation, this percentage should be sent to the burning address. And of course, it creates scarcity. When a coin is being burned, it increases the scarcity of that coin. But that alone does not automatically increase the price of that token. No. Burning alone cannot increase the price of a token. Burning creates scarcity. So scarcity plus high level of demand. Scarcity plus high demand create a good price. Increase in the price of a token. So after scarcity, the demand also plays a vital role in making sure that the price of a token appreciates. Inflation and deflation of a token. Tokenomics also involve inflation and deflation of a token. Like for example, inflationary tokens. Inflationary tokens are tokens that are they are programmed in a mechanism such that this token can be increased. They can increase in circulation with time. By this mechanism, for instance, the reward mechanism or new issuance of tokens. The reward mechanism is a mechanism that is programmed in such a way that new tokens are added into circulation via rewards. While deflationary tokens is also programmed in a mechanism such that tokens can be decreased from circulation via burning. For example, if these tokens are sent to a burn address, they are removed. The amount in circulation is being reduced. The amount in circulation is being reduced via this burning. So these mechanisms are put in place to make sure that the amount of token in circulation should not cause a high pressure in selling, should not create a high selling pressure in such a way that it may affect the price of that token. These are aspects that you also have to look at when you are actually investing into a new token. You have to look at the inflation and the deflation aspect of that token. How are tokens being added in the token? Are there mechanisms that add token into circulation? For instance, I spoke about the rewarding mechanism or the new issuance of new tokens. We spoke about burning. How are these coins being burned to cause the deflation of these tokens? These are also very vital aspects that you must consider before investing into a new token as a new investor into the crypto industry. Market capitalization versus token prices. So most often what people think is if a coin valued at $100, for instance, is much more valuable or much more expensive than a coin at 0.1 cent. But then in total, they forget about the total supply and the amount in circulation. You cannot talk about market capitalization of a token and you forget about the total supply and the amount in circulation. These are things that you need to look at it and you understand. If you multiply maybe the value, the price of that token times the amount in supply or in circulation, you will discover that a coin with 0.1 cent dollar might actually be much more expensive if it has a supply of maybe 100 billion of it. You cannot compare a coin with 100 billion supply, total supply, with a coin with just 10 million total supply. So you have to multiply. When you multiply by the total supply of it, you understand the market capitalization of that token. Yeah, you actually understand the market capitalization of that token. So you should consider the amount in circulation and the total supply of that coin to get the total market capitalization of that token. Yeah. So these are aspects that early investors they don't know. They usually neglect the total supply and the amount of amount in circulation. They don't actually consider this aspect. They just see a coin at $100. They say, or they consider that coin to be the most expensive coin and a coin that has a higher chance to succeed because one pieces of it is costing $100. But then, what is the amount in circulation? What is the total supply of that coin? That is what they don't know. You have to understand these things before you are investing into cryptocurrency. You have to know the market capitalization of this token. You have to do the maths. Understand the total supply of this coin. Understand the amount in circulation of this token. You do your calculation, you get the market capitalization of this token. Fully diluted valuation, abbreviated as the FDV. This is also a very vital and most important aspect when it comes to tokenomics of a token, the fully diluted valuation of it, because the fully diluted valuation of a token estimates the amount of that token, I mean the cost of that token at the current price if the maximum supply of that token were to be in existence. For example, if a coin has a total maximum supply of 1 billion and at that price, at the price of that token, the current price of that token is $1. The fully diluted valuation estimate the total amount of that maximum supply, which is 1 billion, meaning that at a $1 price per token, the fully diluted valuation of that token is 1 billion. I mean 100 billion, because we say if the maximum supply is actually 100 billion of it and the current price of that token is $1 per token. So this fully diluted valuation is estimated at 100 billion, considering the fact that they are estimating it based on the fact that they consider that the maximum supply of this token were to be in circulation at that current price. All of the maximum supply of that token were to be in circulation at that current price. So if the 100 billion of pieces of this token were to be in circulation at $1, that means the fully diluted valuation of this token is estimated at $100 billion. This is also important because if the fully diluted valuation is estimated at $100 billion and we have just maybe 100 million in as a fully diluted valuation at that time, This means there's a higher potential that more tokens are still to be unlocked into circulation subsequently. More tokens are going to be issued. There's going to be new token issuance into circulation. This is also another aspect to consider when you are investing as a beginner. When you're investing into a token, you need to also understand the fully diluted valuation of that token. What should you look at before buying a token? Of course, we have discussed all of this. We have break them down step by step for us to understand the things we need to look at before we actually purchase or invest into a token. Of course, you have to look at the total supply of this token. You have to check the total supply. You have to check the maximum supply of this token. You have to check the circulating supply of this token. You have to check the manner in which these tokens are distributed. You have to check the allocations of this token. How are these tokens allocated? You have to check the burning mechanism of these tokens. How are new tokens issued? You have to check the unlocking mechanism of this token. How are these tokens unlocked into circulation? Of course, you have to check the percentage allocations. Who are these tokens allocated to more? You have to check the rewards mechanism of this token. You have to check the fully diluted valuation of these tokens. You have to check the market capitalization value of this token. All of these are very important. You have to check the maximum supply, which is also very important. How many pieces of this token shall exist in total? I would prefer to invest into a token that has a maximum supply that I know, for instance, 100 billion pieces of this token shall exist, than investing in a token that has no maximum supply. And its maximum supply is infinity. That means there's no maximum supply. At any time, new tokens can be unlocked into circulation, regardless of the price of the token. I will not want to invest into a coin that does not have a maximum supply. I will not want to invest into a coin that does not have a total supply, a circulating supply. I will not want to invest into a coin that does not have utility. So all of these aspects, they team up to build what is known as the tokenomics or the token economic of every token. They are well spread out. You should be able to understand these things. In our next lesson, we are going to be understanding how you can actually look at these things. Platform you can look at like the market cap, the coin cap. You can go on the market coin market cap rather. You would look at the details of every token. Of course, we will discuss about the interface of this of the coin market cap. You will see how to understand the total supply, the maximum supply, the valuation, the utility. You know how to read and understand details about a token. And these are the things that you must do. This is why we say before you invest into cryptocurrency, you have to do do your own research. You are supposed to understand these things. These are the things you want to get into the coin market cap and you look at before you can decide to invest in or purchase a token. I hope you learned something from today's lesson. Please, if you are actually learning, do well to like, subscribe, share, invite others. Together, let's understand cryptocurrencies. I am here and I'm dropping new videos every day for you to do your part. You learn, you understand, ask your questions. I will see you in the next one. And until then, you stay blessed.